Hi, this is my gallery wall, and I thought it would be fun to do like a little tour of all my prints and frames and where I've gotten them from. If anybody knows the YouTuber like Exo McKenna Lee, well, it's not Exo McKenna Lee, but her name's McKenna Lee, and it's like Exo McKenna Vlogs. I absolutely love her stuff, and she does like a lot of home decor, and it's funny because like I get a lot of inspiration from her, even though you'll soon see my place looks nothing like hers at all, but I just like love what she does. And she's the one that inspired me to actually start thrifting beautiful frames. She does more like high-end frames though, like flea markets, vintage places, estate sales. I go to my local thrift stores, so most of my frames are like under $10 is kind of my limit, unless they're big or have beautiful artwork is kind of my criteria, because obviously if they don't have artwork, I have to put something in them, and that can cost money. But I'm very cheap, and I go to Staples and I print things for like $1 maybe. I do have one print coming in though, that's $7.50 with like tax. It was like, I don't know, $8.50, so the most I've ever spent on artwork. But yeah, so she kind of like got me into it. And it's funny because I will insert my original gallery wall that I used to have many years ago when I lived at home with my parents. It was interesting to say the least. I was in love with it, but everyone thought it was weird because the frames that I got were like beautiful. Yes, like they're on this wall, but I didn't put artwork in them for like the first 2 years I had them. I was just like obsessed with the frames and like the look of the frames, even though the frames themselves were not like that crazy. I just thought they were beautiful. And so I kept the original artwork in them, and it was a really random wall. Like one of them had a picture of a polar bear, one of them was like an owl, and then I literally had a marriage pact on there, which my friend thought was hilarious. And thinking back, as someone that was like single in my 20s, like literally 21, a marriage pact on my wall was definitely very weird. Not a marriage pact, I think it was like marriage vows. It was like a picture of like a husband and a wife, not real people. Like I wouldn't be that weird. It was like a drawing of them, and it was like marriage vows, and it wrote down these vows, and I just left it there because I thought the frame was beautiful. So it was weird, but I remember looking at it all the time and being like, oh my god, this is gorgeous, I love this, this is such a pretty gallery wall. And now I've kind of like elevated it and actually added in artwork after all these years, so I thought we would kind of like go through, talk about it, because I love my gallery wall. It's my pride and my joy in my home. It's right, ooh, I hit my plant shelf, don't tell my plants. It's in like the living room of my home. Not that I really have rooms, I live in a condo, so it's my only room. That's not a bedroom or an office or my kitchen. Okay, I thought we'd start on like, I don't know if this is the left or the right side of the wall, but the wall that's closest to the hallway, and work our way inwards to the TV area and kind of go through the different stuff that I got. This bad boy, $7. Not the prettiest, probably one of my least favorite up here, but it was huge and very cheap. My friend did add in the trees, and I definitely want her to do more. She's more of an artist than myself. I can't really paint that much. I did paint this bad boy here at Halloween, and I meant to change it per season, and it's never been changed, but I don't mind because fall's my favorite season. This, like I said, I don't know if I mentioned this. This was my original first frame that was all the way back at my parents' house, and it had polar bears in it for the longest time. And I found this print online, and actually I was going to do it as a paint by numbers, but I realized I'm not that skilled, so I printed it on a piece of paper from Staples for like $1, and it's beautiful. I actually recently just thrifted this bad boy. It was $5, which is an amazing price considering how big it is. Obviously it doesn't have a frame, which I have mixed thoughts about. I'm trying to get used to not everything being in a frame, but I also feel like it's kind of dark from my wall because of like the black borders. We'll see. I do love the nature. It gives me big camping vibes, and I love to go camping. Reminds me of like sitting on a campsite like early in the morning, sun's like shining in. I would love to get a frame for it. I don't know, I might move it somewhere else in my house. I need thoughts and opinions on this because I think it's bringing my gallery wall not down, but I think it's darkening it up. Also, I would love to know what people think that my actual aesthetic is, because I don't know what I would call my home. I see it's like earthy and like not neutral tones, like earth tones, because I've got a lot of greens and blues and like a lot of colors, and maybe cottagecore because I love like grandma vibe things, but not too grandma vibey. I don't know. Let me know. I did just get this bad boy frame was like $2, and then this is a postcard my mom got me when she was in somewhere at a museum, and honestly it is, oh my gosh, it's a Monet. I was gonna call it a Van Gogh, but I was like, that's not Van Gogh, it's a Monet. I actually have it in my bedroom, I think, too. I don't actually love that it's a lot of white around it. I want to get some watercolor pencils to like make the color blue, but alas, that would require me spending money, and I don't really feel like doing that. But you could not see these two frames. These are what I was talking about. Sorry about that. The Monet and my beautiful masterpiece. And then, ooh, I keep running into my plant shelf, which might be the end of me today. We'll see. My beautiful next ones. See, another one, no frame. I do want a frame for these. I just can't find them, and I'm not willing to have them not on my wall for like a year. So she's up. It's fall. Obviously, all these things are very early, if you could not tell. This one was also one of the OG in my place, and it was like a random like painting of kids running around in a circle. It was kind of weird, to say the least. But now it's like this random painting house. It's very obscure. I think like you can't really tell much going on there. I do love this one. Again, this is also, I haven't gotten into my real artwork yet. Well, I guess I did show you two paintings, but they're not the greatest. Well, the camping one is. This one is just a normal painting from Staples, and I Mod Podged it, but it was also a picture of a painting, so it kind of already looks like painting-esque if we're there. I really like it. I think it's just like, it's so pretty. Yeah, there's not much to say on it besides the fact that I think it's really beautiful. My pride and joy, my gorgeous, beautiful painting. I got it for $7.50, which is a steal in my opinion because it's an actual painting. It's literally gorgeous. It's of the mountains. Which mountains? I don't know. It's beautiful. It's got a tree, and it's my absolute favorite thing on this entire wall. My boyfriend would beg to differ. However, that's fine. He can have his own opinion. I mean, his is this one only because it is actually a painting of his old family cottage back in the day. By old family cottage, I mean like his great aunt owned it, and if you're from Ontario, Canada, you might have actually been there because it's like it's not a resort, it's like a fishing lodge, so people can like book cabins and go up there and fish and stuff. They would just like obviously go for free because his great aunt owned it. And actually, very weirdly enough, the company that he works for now does like work trips there, which I also realized the other day that work trips are not really common. I'm like, my parents don't go on these like work trips, like my mom does, but I mean like fun trips, you know? So they book out like a few weekends every single summer, and summer, every single summer, and or the beginning of fall, and they go up. So like you'll go out for a long weekend, everything's all paid for, they get to stay in a cabin, they go fishing, they have a fish fry, all that lovely fun stuff. I've never been there, but maybe one day. It's on the French River. It's supposed to be really beautiful. So that's his favorite. It is called Totem Point Lodge. They no longer own it. It was sold like many years ago, but it's funny because my boyfriend does have a tattoo of it on his body. So I always joke that like on work trips, it's weird that he has a tattoo of this random place that they're going to. But yeah, so that obviously we just inherited because it used to be at the lodge, and then when they sold it, they took like the artwork and everything from it. So we have that, which is really beautiful, and I will say that is also one of my favorites because it is quite beautiful and obviously it's very meaningful. This, one of my favorite frames I've ever thrifted in my entire life. It's not real artwork either, it's just a Staples yet again, but the frame is gorgeous. If you can see, it's like gold and it's like got felt in it, which is beautiful, and framing. And then these are just like little random ones, which again don't have real artwork except for the artwork in my heart that I printed off from Staples, where I find everything on Pinterest. So shout out to Pinterest because they really have a lot of amazing things. I love and hate this frame. I feel like it has like a green tint, which I don't love, even though I love green tones, but maybe because I prefer it to like a gold frame. I do really love this. This is also another Monet, if you didn't know. It's zoomed in. I think it's a bigger painting than that, but that's how it's printed, and I really love it. It's beautiful. This, I don't know who painted that, just a Pinterest, but I love it. It's like sunset, or actually, you know what? It gives me more like dawn vibes than dusk vibes. I think it's gorgeous. Then we have the lower level, which is really close to my plant shelf that you cannot see, but that's okay. This one I did thrift as well, and this is a real painting too, and I do love it because I am a skier. Well, was a skier, haven't skied in many years, but I grew up skiing, and it just reminds me of like the ski hills. Even though it is very basic, it just gives winter vibes, and it is the only piece of gray furniture I will allow in my house. I do not like grays, I do not like blacks. I do have one piece of black furniture, but that's because it was entirely free from when I was a student. They left it in the house, so I copped it. It's a coffee table from IKEA that's falling apart, but it's free. So I do love this, and I think because it's got a little warm tones near it and it's a light gray, it doesn't feel like a gray, because I don't do well with grays and blacks. I love that. This one, my boyfriend actually chipped right after I bought it. I was devastated. I found this frame for like $4. Amazing. Like you can see, like there's no scratches on it besides these two. Literally buys it, gives it to my boyfriend as we're walking out to carry, and he scratches it in 2 spots. I was so upset. But now it has characters, he says. And again, just another Pinterest photo, but I think it reminds me of like a cottage vibe, beach vibe, relaxing vibe. If you could not tell that was my vibe, that is. So I have that. And then this one, gorgeous frame. I actually want to thrift more like shape frames, but that's kind of hard. And I have a certain criteria for frames. Like they either have to be like wood, gold. The green was acceptable because it's beautiful. I don't do reds, it's another thing. I hate the color red. I don't know why. I think it's just really an aggressive color. So you don't really see any reds in my home. I'm like looking around to see if I actually have red in my home. Besides if it's like in a painting, you really want to see it, and I don't think I would get like a prominently red painting. But I do love this. I think it's really cool. Pinterest photo, but gorgeous nonetheless. And then this one I actually inherited from my parents. Oh, it's gonna fall. It's fallen a few times. They've had it for a long time, but never in my house. It was in like a closet for many years, and they randomly just pulled it out, and they're like, do you want it? And I said yes, and at first I was gonna change the painting, but then my dad really loved it and was upset at the thought, and I was like, honestly, it's a fall vibe. I like it, so I kept it. And it's called Early Autumn by Menu, I think. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. This is a lighthouse from Pinterest, but it's gorgeous nonetheless. I feel like that's a huge vibe with this. Everything's like either it came with a frame or it's from Pinterest, like I said, but honestly, how can you go wrong with Pinterest? I should actually put my real photos in them, but I'm not someone that like likes looking at my actual photos. Like, I don't have pictures of people around my house. I know that's like a common thing to decorate with like friends and family, but I've never really liked looking at people. I just like prefer looking at like nature and natural things. I like it feeling like outdoorsy and vibesy. So we have the lighthouse. And then this one I did make actually. Random plant from my mom's backyard. Well, my parents live together. I just always call it my mom's backyard, even though my dad does a lot of yard work too. So sorry, Dad. But my mom does the gardening. My dad does a lot too. Anyways, I did take that, and the whole idea was that I was gonna like press the leaves and take it off with the paint, but it looked really bad, so I just kept it with the paint, and I kind of like it. It looks like organic, and it changes it up from like paintings and normal like prints. It just adds a whole other vibe to it. So there's that. Then this obviously is my second circle frame. I love the golden brown, which I was gonna say I don't have brown frames, which is a lie, because I do wood, but not painted brown. But I love it. Another Pinterest photo. It gives me like cottagecore vibes, which I love, and grandma vibes, which I love. And then this is like my new beauty prize and possession. The print is to come, TBD. That was the one that I mentioned at the beginning. It cost me like $7.50, $8.50 with taxes, which is a really great deal, I will say. I just got this weekend, not this weekend, like 3 weekends ago I was thrifting, and I saw it. It was $15, but it had a vintage tag on it that was $40 at the vintage store. So that's a steal in my opinion, especially because of how big. I mean, even if it didn't have the $40 tag, I still would have thought $15 was really, really good. And it's got like one of those like little plaques that says people's name, Alfred, which is cool. But even though they're beautiful, it's not really my vibe. Like I said, I don't really love people, which is weird to say. People on my walls. So I actually have a painting coming I'm super excited about. It's beautiful. It's actually by like a painter in the 1860s. I believe it's a German painter. I will be uploading that later to show you what it looks like, but it's gorgeous. It's got like mountains, I think there's trees, it's got like a little cottage, it has little cows. I think it's really beautiful, and if you can tell, I like cows. I put them up there. I know this print, you know what, I should have printed it too, because I was like, I just ordered one and I just printed this basically from Staples. Like if you go into Staples, they have those big printers, so you can just do those papers, but if you want bigger ones, you have to order them. Didn't think about that, because I really should get a proper size for this one with my cows, because it's a little scary what it's looking like, but that's okay. I will do that another day. I just think that's so picturesque, and the cows would match this, but the cows in here will be like, I think yay big. They'll be very, very tiny. And then we have my last few pieces, which I love all the same. This one I love because I thrifted both the painting and the frame 2 different times, 2 different thrift stores, actually 2 different cities, which is really, really fun. And the fact that like it literally fits so perfectly, like this is just like a $1 like metal frame, and I just grabbed it because I was like, oh, it's cheap, I could probably throw something in there. And the fact that this I already had and I named a frame for it, beautiful. So I love that. And I love that it's just like a meadow vibes. It's very plain but pretty. This one had a frame last summer. It was a gold frame, which I think I also inherited this from my parents or a thrift store. I cannot remember, honestly, but the frame fell like 3 times. And I don't have AC, and the heat doesn't do well with my pictures, so they fall a lot, unfortunately. Literally last night I was in bed, I hear a crash and thunder, and I'm just like, gosh, please don't be one of my favorite frames, because I didn't want to get out and look. And thankfully it was just like a very cheap frame that was in my kitchen. I still like it, but thankfully it wasn't like my beautiful big ones. So I've just put it back up on the wall because I love the print and I don't want to get the print, and I've been looking for a frame for literally almost a full year at this point, and I have not found one. So I was like, I'm just gonna throw the print up until I find a frame. Do I love the white on white walls? Not really. Not that I would say these walls are white. I think they're like an off-white. I didn't choose the color of this place, nor am I allowed to paint it, which is fine. But I do think that's a little too white and boring for me. However, I'm not going to take it off with matting because I don't want to take it apart and ruin it. And then that bad boy, I guess it's the most expensive thing on this wall. It's $25, which is a little pricey, yes, but it's a beautiful piece of artwork. It's big and it's beachy, and it reminds me of the summertime. And if anyone watches The Summer is Turned Pretty, kind of reminds me of that. Oh my gosh, the song August by Taylor Swift gives me that kind of vibe. So I really, really like it, and there's not really much more to say to it. That I'm actually really obsessed with is this. I do want to put it on the wall, but I also really love it kind of just leaning against the wall on the stand up beside here, which this one, oh my gosh. This thing I thrifted by the side of the road. I made my boyfriend pull over and put it in his car, and then I brought ants into his car. No fear, we have no ants in our house, and this was like 3 years ago. It's kind of falling apart, but I love the natural look. But got this, $10. Still has a price tag on the back. I think kind of pricey, but kind of worth it because it is a real painting and it is quite beautiful. And I love that it just like kind of sits there. I think it looks really pretty because I have a pink candle there, which is currently actually pressing flowers from my mother's garden in a golf book that I stole from their house. And it's got my marble thing, press the flowers. I have a few different flowers because I thrifted a really pretty frame that had like, it's kind of like the style of like this one, where it has something in the middle and it's like 2 beside each other in a gold background. And I thought, pressed flowers would look so pretty there. And my parents have a beautiful garden with so many flowers, so I thought, why not grab some from there? So they've been pressing for 2 weeks, and my mom says I have to wait about a month, so maybe 2 more weeks before I check on it. I also forgot to mention this beautiful lamp. I forgot that it's like very tightly wound to the wall. I thrifted it for like $8 and matches my couch completely, which I also thrifted, but I thrifted the couch like 2 years ago. So that was like a really fun find, and I wanted like something very cute and dainty and colorful there, and a lot of the lamps I found at the thrift store are white. And I thought that'd be kind of boring given that the wall is kind of white, although I do have a white lamp in my room, but it's white and gold. I really love it, and it looks cute, especially with everything. Because it does have a dark lampshade though, it doesn't really light up the room well, like I thought it would. It's okay. It's all about a vibe, okay? That's everything for this side. I would love to do eventually like a whole apartment tour because I do have a really cool place, at least I think, but this is my pride and joy of it. But I do have a mini gallery wall in my kitchen, and then I'm trying to make a small gallery wall because we just got an espresso machine, but I only have one picture frame for it, so we'll see. Let me know what you think this vibe and aesthetic is. I don't know if you can say earthy is an aesthetic, and I'm not calling it boho because boho I feel like is like, not that there's anything wrong with macrame because I do have 2 macrame hangers in my bedroom, but I feel like it's more like macrame and like twine vibe, and I don't have a lot of that. But this is like natural fibers, woods, earthy. Is earthy a thing? I think so. But let me know what you think it is. Also, what I should do with this. Because if you see it on the whole wall, you can see that it's kind of darker than the rest of the wall. That's really dark, and then this is too light. So those are the things that are kind of tripping me up right now. I might change it, and then eventually, hopefully you'll see that before I upload the video of it with my beautiful cows, and then I'll be a beautiful show over. Thanks for watching.